Well, we're heading to the New Hampshire primary tomorrow. I'm not physically heading there, but the New Hampshire primary is tomorrow, folks. So that's going to be the first real contest that this Republican primary has faced. Because let's face it, last week's Iowa Caucus, even though the corporate media tells us Donald Trump won in a landslide, CNN talked about it, NBC, ABC, CBS all talking about Donald Trump's massive victory in Iowa. But now that the dust has settled, and we've had a week to actually look at it and look at the real numbers, turns out that Donald Trump's win in Iowa was actually very pathetic. Iowa, in last week's caucuses, experienced record low turnout. Record low. Meaning most Republicans in the state didn't want to get out, didn't want to vote, didn't care enough to even show up to the Iowa caucus. First in the nation, we've been talking about Iowa for months and months, hell, over a year, honestly. And now, of course, we don't have to talk about Iowa again for another 4 years, which is great. But Donald Trump's 56% victory looks good on paper if you don't know what numbers mean, right? Like, he won by 56%. That's huge. It's not, though. Donald Trump, his 56%, represents only 7% of registered Republicans in the state. That's it. He got 7% of Republicans in the state of Iowa to vote for him in that caucus. 7. In terms of the overall voting population, it's actually only 3% when you include all the parties. So Trump's landslide victory was to get 3% of the residents in Iowa to vote for him. 3%. And we're supposed to act like that's a big deal? We're supposed to pretend that, oh my God, Donald Trump ran away with it. The voters didn't care to show up. And a lot of people might be saying, but Farron, yeah, record low turnout. Did you not know about the weather last week and how horrible it was? Yeah, I did. And let me tell you something. That hasn't stopped Trump supporters in the past. Remember in 2020, when we were getting close to the election, Donald Trump was putting on rallies all over the country in the middle of COVID. Trump supporters didn't care about COVID. We didn't even have vaccines at that point. We didn't even know how to treat the damn thing. We had no pills, no Paxlovid to give people. We didn't even know how to treat it. Like, if you got COVID, 50-50 chance, right? His supporters were still packing in and showing up in the middle of a pandemic. They didn't care. It didn't stop them. People were leaving in ambulances, depending on where he was. Some were getting heat stroke. Some were freezing, suffering from symptoms of hypothermia. So Trump supporters have already proven they will show up for him in spite of the health risks, in spite of the weather. They don't care. They're going to be there for him. That was 2020, though. 2024, not so much. We don't care. It's that lack of enthusiasm that we should be focused on from the Iowa caucus. Not Trump's 56%, which again is actually 7% of Republicans, 3% of the overall population, which is pathetic. We should be focused on the fact that not even 15% of Iowa voters showed up at the caucuses. Not even 15%. There's no enthusiasm there. And I have seen far too many polls and headlines about, oh, well, Democrats don't have enthusiasm. Did you just see what happened in Iowa? Republicans don't have enthusiasm. But I'm not seeing headlines about that everywhere. Everything's telling us gloom and doom about the damn Democrats, right? No. Turns out the Republicans are the ones with a very significant turnout and enthusiasm problem. And that was on full display in last week's Iowa caucuses. And nobody is bothering to point out those facts. Ring of Fire is just a few subscribers short of hitting that 1 million subscriber milestone. So if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and do so and stay up to date with all of the latest from Ring of Fire.